Hello and welcome to Math 3A for the summer of 2025. My name is Greg Perkins and I'm the instructor for the class. So with this video, it's going to be an overview of how the class works. Let me just bring up the syllabus first of all. So for contact information, I prefer that you use the gperkins@hartnell.edu. Since it's an online class, we will have online work done with MyMathLab. I'm actually going to make a second video right after this to explain all about MyMathLab. This video is just going to be about the course itself and using Canvas. Okay, so if you look down here, there's basically 4 categories of work. Problem sets, which are one-page handouts that I make up myself. Podcast problems, which are videos that I've made for the class, and then there's the MyMathLab homework and MyMathLab quizzes. If you take a look at the second and third page, that's where the real information is. Here's all of the due dates for everything that's due in this 8-week course. So every Friday there will be homework due on MyMathLab, and every Monday there will be podcasts and problem sets due. And then every Wednesday, there will be a quiz on MyMathLab, and the quiz is basically going to cover the homework that was due the previous Friday. So basically, you're going to watch the videos, do the homework, that'll take you through Friday. Then on Monday, the podcasts and problem sets are very similar to that. And then the Wednesday quiz is also very similar to that homework that you did last Friday. And then the cycle starts again. Okay, so all of the due dates are here for the whole summer class. August 1st is the last day. And now let's take a look at Canvas. So on Canvas, I set it up by timeline. So week 1 is here. So week 1, June 9th through the 13th. And when you open that up, there's going to be a link to the lecture video as well as the notes. So basically, as I made the video, I wrote down on a piece of paper and the notes are there, so you can take a look at the notes as you watch the video. So basically, as I did the explanation, this is what I was writing. And so you should watch the video as well as take a look at those notes there. Also at the top of each one, there's going to be a reminder. So if you look at that syllabus page with all the due dates, basically there's just going to be another reminder week by week. So what's due this week? So for Monday, you should watch this intro video. Good job, you're doing that. Sign up for MyMathLab after you watch the second video about MyMathLab, and then watch the video lectures and take notes for sections 2.1 through 2.6. And then by the end of Friday, do the homework. And then at the bottom, I always put, hey, doing next week, next Monday, so that you can go ahead and take a look at the problem set and podcasts that are due next Monday. So the problem sets are, like I said, problems that I made up, and they're just going to be 2 pages. So just that right there. And after watching the videos and doing the homework, then you should be able to do all of these. It is important that you show all of your work. Let me just show you an example from a previous class. So I did have to crop it so the student's name wasn't there. But basically this is the person showing their work. So they're showing all the steps and then finally to get the answer, put it in a box, looks great. So it should look something like that. It would be best if you print it out. Most people do have the ability to print it out. If you don't have a printer, one choice, of course, would be to use an iPad or something like that, and then just write on that. Or if you need to, you can just get a blank piece of paper and write down number 1, here's the limit, and then show your work. And then when you're done, you would need to scan it, make a PDF, and then upload it to Canvas. These days, most people are familiar with how to make a PDF, but if you don't, here's a link right here. So once you have your work written out and you're ready to submit it, then you'll just create a PDF. If you're not sure how to do that, there's 3 free choices. So none of these cost any money, but here's 3 different ways to make a PDF with your phone. So when you're ready to turn it in, then you would go to assignments. And if it's a problem set, you would just click on problem set number 1. And right now this is the teacher's version, but usually right in here or right in here somewhere, there would be a button that just says upload your work. And it does need to be a PDF. So please make sure you save your work as a PDF. And you're going to find that I put things in multiple places just as a reminder. So I'm going to email out the problem set. I'll show you another place where the problem sets are. And even when you go here to turn it in, there's the problem set once again. So there is redundancy built in, just like any good spacecraft should have. All right, so for week 1, this is basically what it looks like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a little bit more than usual, but basically because there's nothing to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, other than getting the homework done. That's why this is starting off with more sections than usual. So if you look at week 2, this one, this one has 1, 2, 3, 4 sections. And when you notice that week 2, like that's when the problem set is due on Monday. So the problem set is once again right here. So like I said, redundancy is built in, but I also made up a video for every problem set. And hello Math 3A, and welcome to some examples that I'm going to do that are just like problem set number. So anyway, you can watch the video where I do examples very similar to the problem set, and that should help you out. And of course you can contact me, email me if you have specific questions about the problem set or anything else in the class. That email on the that I pointed out, that gperkins@hartnell.edu, is the best choice. Okay, so basically week by week, you'll just go through. As we finish a week, I'll then move it down so that week 2 will then be at the top. So you basically need to look at this top stuff up here each time. All right, now on to another thing that I've made up, and that's called the podcast problems. So here's the podcast problems themselves. And basically what I did for every section, I made up an example, and I made a video where I show you how to do these examples. So the podcast problems, which is worth, what is that, 20% of your grade? Yes, the podcast problems are worth 20% of your grade. That's going to be the easiest points that you'll ever have in a calculus class. So you basically just go to my YouTube channel, Hartnell College Math on YouTube, and you watch the videos. So I'll just leave the link to those right up here at the top. So when you go to watch the video, this takes you to the homepage with all of the videos. So podcast 1, 2, 3, etc. And you just watch the video and you write down the steps that I write down to prove that you watched it. So that's basically the easiest points that you'll ever get in a calculus class. And they're very similar to the problem sets and homework questions. So but it's just one problem at a time. So, I tried to make the videos, as you can see, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Okay, number 1 was long because that was like the first one. But after that, they're just like 2, 3, 4 minutes. So I tried to keep them short and just do one problem at a time. So that's the podcast problems. Okay, so let me just take a look at the syllabus one more time to make sure that I've gone over everything so far. So once again, it's important that you show all of the steps on the podcast problems and the problem sets, because I don't grade just the answer, but the actual steps. And no late work is accepted. As you can see, all the due dates are here. So if you have something coming up on a Friday, the 27th of June, then please plan ahead to get that homework done before then. So like I say, all the due dates are here. All right, so now I'm going to make the video for the My Math Lab, and notice that you do need this. So I'm just going to copy it right now, and then I'm going to go and make the video for how My Math Lab works. See you in a few.